Well, it's time to make some patterns. This is the old piece from the original 55. It's in better shape than what's on the fenders or inner fenders I'm fixing. So I need to make a pattern of them. And a couple of these holes are supposed to be there. The others are spot weld holes. Square that off. Use my imagination here a little bit, I guess. Guess we can use this as a straight edge. Good enough. Don't know where my other scissors are at, so I just got my tin snips. Hopefully I'm in frame. Draw fold line. I gotta fold it. Left side will be one way, right side will be the other. Let's see here. Fold line. Might leave these tails a little long just just in case they're not gonna, you can get them right in the template. There, one pattern. I got to make a pattern for this and get some of this 14 gauge steel. But at least these are good enough for patterns, because I tell you what, I've been hacking on what's left on the inner fenders that are there now, and there's just nothing left. You can see there. I could sort of make a pattern, but these are actually slightly different than the, this is a 1960, and the 55 has got a slightly different pattern. So I want to use the 55 pattern. Alright, more later. Okay, time for another pattern. This front body mount looks pretty good from this side, but from the other side it's pretty badly rusted, and the ones on the car are even worse. They're rusted clean through. This is the original from the 55, which is shaped slightly differently from the later tr3. So this is going to be my pattern, and I need a left and a right. So I'm going to cut out this pattern first, and then the pieces, and tape them all together, and that way I can fold it to go the other way. And hopefully this is going to work. Should. Just like that, I guess. Let's sit down. Back is still bothering me. I'm off camera, I think. Wish my regular scissors would show up, but these sheet metal cutters work. Yeah, watching these other guys do these patterns, they seem to help a lot when you're making stuff. So I decided to start doing the same thing. And watching Pro Shaper, he uses a lot of cardboard patterns for each station, which I'm going to be doing, I think, on the nose of the car, trying to save it, where you can do a cardboard pattern of the left side to flop it over to the right side. And so I'm going to be giving that a try. Since I'm new to all this stuff. Never claimed to be a body man. Well, it seems to fit in there pretty well, except for right over there. Teeny bit off, not much. Of course, it shows a little higher, but put it on the back side. Yeah, that should do the job. Well, I'll make some more of this pattern. Don't need to watch, that's a bit boring. More later. Yeah, there we go. Now I can bend it this way or this way for left or right. This is going to be made out of 14 gauge, and boy, it's going to be hard to bend. I think what I'll do, what I used to do in the past and other jobs, take my grinder and grind those lines until it's thin enough that I can bend it easily and then just weld it on the inside. I won't have to weld on the outside. I think that's what I'll do. I've been successful at that in the past. But there's another origami pattern. I think that's going to work good. Now I'm starting to work on this area here now. Moving around. So many places to fix this. Throw a dart at a dartboard to figure out what you want to do next. But boy, these seem like they're always rusted out, all the TRs I've seen. So this one's no different. I'm just stripping off this. This is all going away, but I need to use part of it for a part of my fitment. Cleaning up old spot wells. Hopefully that's pretty good, I guess. Oh, my air compressor's off. No wonder I'm running low on power. And not the sharpest drill bit. And I'm just trying to pilot them for right now. I'll use a different cutter. starts to rust. Yeah, I was trying to get this sort of smooth enough so when I lay the new plate over, I'll be able to line everything up. Probably put a couple of clecos in, and then do what Fitz's garage calls a cutting butt. Right along this line, cut the new panel and the old panel, and it should line right up. But first I got to make it to where it'll lay down on there okay. There's that one. Oh, come on. those air die grinders, at least mine are shot, or they just don't have much power compared to an electric one. I'll bring you back for more of the fun a little bit later. Okay, I cut out some squares and shadow in there. Drew the patterns out on these plates. That's the inner fender sheet metal, which is 18 gauge. And this is the pattern for the front body mount, which is 14 gauge. So I've got to build one for each side, but cutting these out, a friend of mine's got a bandsaw for metal, so I'm going to run over to his house and cut these out. It'll be way easier, and then I can start fitting them. More later. Okay, I'm at my friend Jim's shop. We're going to be cutting out the sheet metal there and the bandsaw, but take a little perusal of the old vet here. Highly modified 64 vet. The biggest grill in the cage, 572 engine. How we're going to squeeze it all into the hood, I'm not quite certain. But another major project. There's no shortage of them. Another day of winter. We've had so much snow. I'm losing bays over there. I mean, that snow is 4 to 5 feet high and yards deep. We're in a backyard here. Just tons of snow. I mean, I have no place to even put it anymore. Hopefully I won't fall down the ice. I already did that and screwed up my shoulder, so now my hand doesn't work very well. Can't even drive around my shop anymore. I got snow piled up over there. It's real depressing. There's a reason why people in Alaska just go flat nuts now, especially this time of year. But trying to get some things done on a little Triumph. Working on sheet metal work on the front of these inner fenders now. Alright, back to cutting and hacking. go the other way. Come on, this disc can do it before it runs out. There we go. How much left? And for cheap Clecos, they seem to work. Not building a space shuttle here. There we go. I'm going to polish this all off. I'm going to do that cut and butt method. We're grinding along here and welding it together. So, got to bunch some. Okay, I'm doing a little bit of bending. This is a front bracket that's spot welded into the very front of the car and on the front body mount, and then they're all rusted out. So you saw in an earlier video that I cut these out. Now I'm bending these flanges. Some guys would just cut them off, stand them up and weld them, but I kind of didn't want to do that. So I'm only cutting about halfway through them and then bending them in the vise. So I still got a couple more here to do. Then I'll weld on the inside here. It may not even need it, but I'll probably do it anyway. And there you go. Pretty heavy bracket. It's a 14 gauge steel. So I'm going to get it all clamped down and I'll bring it back. Okay, here we go. Grinder's got a bad switch on it. Hard to pull.
detoxifies below the gum line to restore your gums back to health in just 7 days.
Yeah, maybe a little more.
Exactly. Healthy gums, healthy mouth.
Yeah, using this piece of scrap basically as a straight line really helps not having to worry about trying to follow a line. You just bump it up against it and make your pass.
You can always count on your local Geico agent. They can bundle your policies, which could save you hundreds.
Yeah, I'll bring it back here. I'm going to go bend it in the vise. Or I'll move over to the vise maybe. Okay, I got it all clamped in the vise. This bend is longer than my jaws are, so I had a piece of angle iron here and put a couple of vice grips on either end. That should be enough to hold everything in place. But there it goes. Probably could have cut it a little more, I guess. Yep. Pretty good. Okay, I guess I could have cut. Of course, this is really a thin one, where this had a lot more area for me to clamp onto, and it was not as long. But we tap down a little bit more, but now I got to cut this one next. Fold that, and then this bottom folds up, and then I'll have a. Where's the other one? Yeah, I don't know where the old one is right at the moment, but anyway, a replacement. More later. Okay, got it fitted. There's the old one. There's the new one. And of course, it doesn't quite fit inside. It shouldn't. Not totally. One thickness removed. But yeah, I might have drilled that hole a little off. That's bothering me. I think it's supposed to be more centered. I may have to cut that off and put another piece in, but I can do that. But anyway, yeah, now it's stuck in there. Anyway, pretty happy with that. Good result. More later. Well, there's the mount in place. Getting ready to start welding it in. Around this side. There's the inside plate. So welding will commence.